I am the Gridiron Ghost, a witness to eras, legacies, and the long shadows cast by greatness. Tonight, we gather for something rare in college football. A farewell. Not to a team, not to a rivalry, but to an entire kingdom of the sport. The Pac-12 Conference, born in the West, raised in the light of mountains and coastlines, holder of myths, memories, dynasties, and dreams, now arrives at its final championship game. This is not just a title match. It is a last breath, a final echo of a fallen giant. The story begins in 1915, when four schools banded together to bring order to the frontier of college football: California, Washington, Oregon, and Oregon State. They called it the Pacific Coast Conference, a league defined by distance, innovation, and academic ambition. Over the next century, it would become home to Rose Bowl legends, Heisman winners, Olympians, and innovators who shaped the modern game. The conference changed names, expanded borders, survived scandals, eventually emerged as the Pac-12, a tapestry stretching from desert to coastline to mountains. But traditions, like empires, are fragile. And in 2023, the ground beneath the Pac-12 finally cracked beyond repair. Greatness endures, but conferences don't always survive. Flashback. 1997. A quarterback drops into the Rose Bowl sunlight, blue sky blazing overhead. He feels pressure off the edge, steps up, lets it sail 50 yards downfield. Caught. The crowd explodes in a tidal wave of Pacific noise. For decades, the Pac-12 held some of the game's brightest Saturdays: USC's dynasties, Oregon's speed revolution, Stanford's intellectual brutality, Utah's fury, Washington's balance of power and finesse, UCLA's brilliance under lights. But the Pac-12 wasn't just football, it was identity. Mountains behind stadiums, green fields carved from coastal fog, mascots that embodied regional culture: the Ducks, the Huskies, the Trojans, the Buffs, the Sun Devils. The conference champion didn't just win a trophy. They earned passage to the Rose Bowl, a granddaddy of them all, where the West met the Midwest in a clash of styles and spirit. The Rose Bowl wasn't just a game. It was the Pac-12's heartbeat. The Pac-12 Championship game itself arrived late, in 2011, when conference realignment demanded a title bout. The game was restless at first, played at campus sites, shifting between noise and neutrality. But in 2014, it found a permanent home in Santa Clara, later Las Vegas, a city built for spectacle. From there came some of the greatest duels the West had ever seen. Oregon's offensive avalanches, Stanford's power symphonies, Utah's rise from outsider to enforcer, Washington's precision and grit. And then realignment arrived. The winds of television money, shifting priorities, and competitive imbalance fractured the foundation. 12 proud schools scattered across 4 conferences. A century-old identity dissolved. And so, the Pac-12 Championship of 2023 became something more than a game. It became a requiem. A final chapter written under neon and desert sky. Lights blaze over Las Vegas. 2 teams jog from the tunnel, not just chasing a crown, but carrying the weight of an entire conference on their shoulders. Kickoff. A returner fields it at the goal line, bursts through the seam, sidesteps a defender, and the stadium roars with Western fire one last time. This is not nostalgia. This is survival. Midway through the second quarter, quarterback fires a dart between 2 defenders. Touchdown. Crowd erupts. The West remembers its power. Late in the fourth, the desert night trembling, a running back lowers his shoulder. First down, first down, first down. The chain crew barely keeps up. The Pac-12's final heartbeat pounds through the stadium walls. But beneath the spectacle lies something deeper: the ache of history. The Pac-12 gave us USC's 11 national championships, Oregon's space-age offense, Stanford's Heisman runners, Washington's undefeated seasons, Utah's fierce, defiant rise, and so many unforgettable moments. The Bush Push, Mariota's tearful Heisman, Jake Locker's heroics, Christian McCaffrey breaking reality. The Holy War intensity crossing state lines. The Civil War played in storms and shadows. The streaky madness of the Territorial Cup. A century of stories, now carried into the future by schools scattered across a new map. The final Pac-12 Championship was more than a title game. It was a ceremony. A salute to identity, geography, culture, and rivalry. The West played football differently, with elegance, speed, creativity, and a refusal to conform to Eastern expectations. Now, that uniqueness lives on only in memory and in the echoes left behind each campus corridor. A conference died, but its spirit didn't. Final possession. The quarterback kneels. The scoreboard freezes one last time. Confetti falls, not in celebration alone, but in farewell. The trophy is lifted into the desert sky. The stadium roars, crackling with equal parts triumph and grief. This is how a giant falls, with glory still clinging to its armor. So remember this. The Pac-12 was not perfect, but it was beautiful. A home of innovation, rebellion, and destiny. Its final championship will fade from headlines, but not from the echoes. Because the West, its legends, its rivalries, its identity, still lives in the hearts of those who loved it. And as long as memories survive, a fallen giant still casts a shadow. I am the Gridiron Ghost. You've been listening to Campus Chronicles Beyond the Game, where history speaks, and the stories never rest. Until next time, keep your spirit loud, your history close, and remember, the echoes never fade.